Well, coming up today on Western Sports Roundup, if you feel like you've been asking yourself this week, wonder who won the Maple Leaf Circuit Finals over the weekend? Well, you're in luck. We're going to have those champions for you, and a few of them pretty familiar there at the top #1 spot.
And we're going to break down all you need to know about the timed events going into tomorrow night for the first round of the National Finals Rodeo. We're talking the highs and the lows from the season.
And we're going to get ready to kick off a new PBR season. The Velocity Tour gets started this weekend. The Vice President of the PBR, Robert Simpson, will join us on the show. Oh, by the way, they got a little something going on during the National Finals Rodeo to tell you about as well. All that and more coming up on Western Sports Roundup.
Here we go, Camping World Buck and Shoot, Jefferson Silva. Oh yeah! Championship, let's do this! Come on, see!
Well, welcome to Western Sports Roundup. As always, we're proud to remind you that the Cowboy Channel is the exclusive home of the PRCA, your destination for the very best in rodeo action.
And we've got big news for our fans. WSR will now be simulcast live on YouTube. That means you can watch the show in real time on both the Cowboy Channel and our YouTube live stream, giving you even more ways to stay connected with us and to Western sports. We're bringing you all of the coverage from here as well as Las Vegas. We're getting so close to the National Finals Rodeo. It all kicks off tomorrow night in the coveted Thomas and Mack. The yellow buildings, the yellow chutes, it's all happening for 2025. When that means we're just 11 days away from crowning the world champions, and we've all been waiting, seeing how it's all going to go. This is Western Sports Roundup. I'm Haley Novak here with Ty McClary, and today we have a show full of timed events, full of champions, full of potential champions. It's all leading up to that big day tomorrow.
Yes, it definitely is. And we're going to talk a lot about the National Finals Rodeo as it gets underway tomorrow. But we want to start off this show with talking about circuit final season in the world of professional rodeo. That continued over the weekend as we take you to the Great White North in Regina, Saskatchewan. That was the home of the Maple Leaf Circuit, where they crowned their champions. And just like the other circuit finals that we've reported for you here over the last couple of months, remember, 2 contestants from every event, the year-end champion and the average champion at the finals, will go on to the NFR Open this next July in Colorado Springs to compete for big money there.
And Regina native himself, Ty Tapotate, winning the Maple Leaf with over $15,000 before. He's following in his family's footsteps. His dad was a bareback rider, so therefore he's a bareback rider now. He is a previous Canadian Pro Rodeo Rookie of the Year and is continuing it on through the rest of his career.
It's kind of interesting the way it folded out, though, for Ty. Not quite enough rodeos for him to actually call the circuit title home. So Chet Dietz is actually going to be your bareback champion there because of those circuit numbers for Ty. When we look at the steer wrestling, though, how about the, I'm going to say, quote-unquote, retired steer wrestler, Scott Gunther? He did it again. Very familiar territory for this guy to be in that #1 spot up there in Canada in the Maple Leaf Circuit. He's done it in years past, continued to do it again this year. And oh, by the way, we're about to see him tomorrow night in Las Vegas for another trip to the National Finals Rodeo for this guy.
And in the team roping, it was Ty Vale and Riley Wilson. This is a tale of a young gun and a veteran here together. They missed their first one, but they redeemed themselves, being 4-2, 4-7, 5 flat to finish third in the aggregate there, picking up over $5,500, adding to their total of $17,000 coming into this. So it was incredible. They needed it to get done, and they redeemed themselves from round 1.
Saddle bronc riding at the Maple Leaf Circuit Finals is always something to watch, I'll guarantee you. In fact, we're going to talk a little more about these Canadian bronc riders here in just a little bit. Cole Ashbacher, he was your champion when it was all said and done. $22,000 on the season, close to $23,000. He won a little over $2,000 of that just at the Maple Leaf Circuit Finals. He's been to the National Finals Rodeo before, and we will see Cole Ashbacher at the NFR again. This guy is a talented saddle bronc rider.
Yes, he certainly is, just as well as Jaden Wilson is in the barrel racing. She is your reigning Canadian champion. She's riding her homegrown, home-raised horse, Whiskey. This is her very first futurity colt, and they have shot to success. She's a full-time employee, so she works all the time, and then she somehow finds time to win in the barrel racing, but over $31,000 in the Maple Leaf. That's incredible for Jaden Wilson.
Speaking of good horsepower, you may know a little something about that buckskin horse that Logan Bird just stepped off of in the tie-down open to win the Maple Leaf Circuit. That is the great Peso, of course, that we've seen so long now in the pro rodeo world. That horse is headed back to the National Finals Rodeo with a couple guys riding him there in Las Vegas, but he does belong to Logan Bird and the Bird family. So when you've got that kind of horsepower, oh yeah, that makes the job even easier to win over $5,500 at the finals like Logan did and to come out your season-ending champion.
Yeah, Ty, unofficially 3 guys will be riding him at the finals, which means over 30 runs potentially for Peso. So we'll see how that goes. But Brady Whiteside in the breakaway roping, she's also your reigning Canadian champion in the breakaway. She held the #1 back number going into those finals. She led the season all along up there. So it's no different for her to lead it as far as the PRCA goes. $16,000 for Prince Brady.
Yeah, and in the bull riding, Edgar Durazo. This is very familiar territory for this guy as well. We watched him do well 1 year ago at this event, which catapulted him to the NFR Open last season. So we watched him in Colorado Springs this past summer. Now we get a chance to do it again. This guy's been a Canadian champion at so many different levels up there and continues to do exactly that. When you ride that kind of bulls for Edgar, that is the reason you're the year-end champion there. Almost $20,000 won on the season for Edgar. There's a look at all of them that we just told you about for the Maple Leaf Circuit. Congratulations to those champions, and congratulations to the 2 in each event that are headed on to the NFR Open.
Yes, we've seen it before. The NFR Open can drastically change a season. If you have success there, then you move on to Puyallup and have the chance potentially to compete at Sioux Falls for the Gov Cup. So there's big things on the line whenever it comes to this, and we have a few Canadian NFR athletes that'll be competing this year's finals. It kind of looks a little bit like Canadian night sometimes.
It definitely does. Canadian night will be later on in the week there for sure. It's our Kubota top story of the day, brought to you by Kubota. Together we do more. And when you talk about the Canadians, they always have such a strong presence in Las Vegas at the National Finals Rodeo, and that will continue this year. Not only in the saddle bronc riding, you just watched some video of Logan Hay, but in the team roping as well. The Hay brothers are up there. They're headed there as well. So lots of Canadian talent in Las Vegas. And speaking of some Canadian talent, what do you say we hear from our resident Canadian, Katie Lucas?
Well, guys, as you can hear, we're getting closer and closer to kicking off round 1 of the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. Rehearsal is going on behind us now, and I'm hanging out here with a familiar face, Miss Rodeo Canada, Cody Wilson. Cody, it is getting so exciting. We're mere hours away, about 24 hours away from kicking things off here in the Thomas and Mack. What are you most looking forward to this week as you represent their sport of rodeo in Canada here at the National Finals?
Yeah, it's so crazy to be back here a whole year later. I got to come here for a few days as lady in waiting last year, but getting to be here in Las Vegas, cheering on our Canadian athletes is just such a joy. And, you know, there's so much I'm looking forward to, getting to go to lots of different events here in Vegas, but really just showcasing the talent that we have in Canada is what I'm most looking forward to.
Speaking of that talent, there's a lot to celebrate for us this year. There's actually 11 Canadians competing both at the National Finals and the National Finals of breakaway roping. How cool is it to get to cheer on a contingent of 11 Canadians between the 2 events?
Oh my word, to have that many, our numbers are just growing. You know, our sport in Canada is growing so much, and so to see that amount of Canadians here and getting to cheer them on is just, it's so exciting.
Yeah, when we look at the list here too, I mean, we've got a lot to cheer for in the saddle bronc riding. Dawson Hayes, Zeke Thurston, Ben Anderson, Q Taylor. It's pretty cool to see our bronc riders just continue to be so strong year after year.
Oh, it so is, and you know, just seeing how that has trickled down into the youth as well, and just our saddle bronc riding, I feel like has never been as strong as it is right now, and so exciting to cheer 4 of our Canadians on in that event.
And I know we don't have CPRA rodeos over on the east side of Canada, but we do have an IPRA, now PRCA competitor, Julie Plord. She was a last-minute roll-up into the barrel racing. It's going to be awesome to cheer her on. I know she's from Texas, but we're proud to say she hails from Canada originally.
Absolutely. We'll take as many as we can get, and we are so excited. It's such a great opportunity for her to get to come in last minute, and excited to see what she'll do here this week as well.
Canada night is going to be something special,
doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
That's coming our way in round number 8. So before we hit there, though, you've got a lot to do here. You've got a lot of autograph signings, a lot of meet and greets, kind of let people in a little bit on just a day in the life of Miss Rodeo Canada at the national finals. It's a lot more work than people realize.
Oh, it sure is. You know, I've been in here for about 3 days now, and my days have been so packed getting to go to different events. We have the Miss Rodeo America pageant happening right now, and that has been such a highlight for me. You know, I've got to know those girls so closely throughout my year with my travels, and so cheering them on has been lots of fun. But yeah, a typical day, you know, it can vary a little bit, but usually it's a pretty early start, and then, you know, there might be an event in the morning, some autograph sponsor visits, different things throughout the afternoon, some interviews, things like this, you know, practice, just different things that go on to kind of make everything come together for the National Finals Rodeo. And then I'm so excited to get to be a part of different viewing parties. The Palms is a huge sponsor of us, so we're going to be taking part in lots of those viewing parties, and then of course some of the national final performances as well.
Now, of course, you being here at the NFR means you are nearing the end of your reign as Miss Rodeo Canada. What has been a standout moment or moments for you throughout the year?
Yeah, you know, it's been really hard for me to kind of pinpoint that. I've had the most amazing year getting to represent Canadian professional rodeo, and it's just been a true honor. So, I mean, to pick one is really difficult, but I would just say, you know, getting to meet people along the way, the amazing places I've gone, and connections both here in the States as well as in Canada have just made such an incredible impact on me, and so that's been such a highlight, just the people and the places you go.
Well, I can tell you, you have done the country of Canada and rodeo in the country proud. Congratulations on a great year.
Thank you so much.
Your 2025 Miss Rodeo Canada. She will be here representing the country and rodeo in Canada at the National Finals Rodeo.
Well, thanks for that, Katie Lucas, former Miss Rodeo Canada, there with the current Miss Rodeo Canada. Incredible to see how the generations go down the list there. But when we come up next here on Western Sports Roundup, we're keeping it within the Thomas and Mack. The steer wrestling is up next, and we're going to review number 1 all the way through number 15.
And we will keep that theme going on today's show with looking a lot at the timed events, the National Finals Rodeo, before it gets underway tomorrow night. We'll look at the team rope and break that down a little bit for you, show you some of the guys that we think is going to win a pile of money out there. So no matter what, stay with us. We'll be right back here on Western Sports Roundup.
Western Sports Roundup brought to you by Resistol, the official hat of cowboys everywhere. We live it every day. Sports Roundup is brought to you by Rock and Roll Denim. Live boldly. Live in rock and roll denim.
They're saying Tyler Wagaspack has won the world championship. Man. The 10th round magic for Tyler Wagaspack just continues to show up. World championship in 16, 18, and now 3 in a row, 21, 22, and 23. As you see, that guy right there, J.D. Struckness, looks like he's going to be your world champion.
I don't think there's a steer wrestler out there that's surprised that he's walking up there to get his first world title.
We'll be seeing reigning world champion J.D. Struckness back at the National Finals Rodeo just tomorrow, but the cowboy that everybody is rooting for to win their first world championship has got to be Will Loomis. We're all rooting for this cowboy, just as everybody else at home is, I'm sure.
He is. It's like he's everyone's favorite. You know, as we were preparing for this show today, even here at the Cowboy Channel with our producers back there in the room, I mean, everybody's like, man, we want Will to win him a world title. We all know, if you're a rodeo fan over the last handful of years, you've watched this guy now. This is his 8th trip to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. He has been so close on so many different occasions. In fact, he's been a 3-time reserve world champion steer wrestler. But different for this year, Haley Novak, he's going in the number 1 spot. So everybody is chasing him. You see right there, he's got 195,001 on the season. Does that change the way he does the NFR? No, probably not. But I just feel like things are different for this guy this year. He said it last year at the National Finals Rodeo going into it. He's not trying so hard to that world title. He's just bulldogging steers and letting it happen. I hope that's what he can do for 10 nights in Las Vegas this year.
Ty, I hope so. I hope that he does as well, but he only has a $15,000 lead ahead of Tucker Allen coming in at number 2, which that's not a lot of money to only have on the line. And really that top 5, they're all so close in there and can definitely surpass Will Loomis as far as money won. But It'll just be interesting to see how that comes to play.
He won the average at the National Finals Rodeo back a handful of years ago, back in 2021. So he knows what that feels like. Would he love to win the average title again? Absolutely. That would definitely help him trying to secure that first ever world title. And you bring up a great point, Haley, the fact that those guys are so close. He's only got that $15,000 lead. But here's the deal with a big guy like Will Loomis. Okay, he's riding Swamper, one of the great horses. Winston McGraw's great horse. He, along with a couple other guys, will be riding that horse out there. You let Will Loomis get it kicked off tomorrow night and win maybe the first go-round, get him a couple go-round wins there out of the first maybe 4 or 5 rounds. I think that'll just catapult this guy into some great confidence going into the NFR. He seems to be able to handle it now. We'll see what he can do.
I would have to agree with you on that one. If you get round 1 kicked off, it makes it a lot easier, especially when you have Tyler Waguespack coming up behind you. 11 straight NFRs, 5 world championships. There's not much to say about this guy. Then he is just a straight winner when it comes to the Thomas and Mack. 2 average titles. He won $112,000 at the NFR alone last year, and he came into the NFR hurt last year.
And it doesn't matter where this 5-time world champion comes into the NFR, just long as he's somewhere near the Thomas and Mack. This is a guy that you cannot count out for a world title. There's a reason he's got 5 of those world championship gold belt buckles on his belt. There he is, number 8 right now in the world in the standings, 135,001 on the season. Sure, he didn't have no big, huge fireworks year. Of course, he won 30,000 there in July, part of that, of course, the big Cowboy Christmas that he had. But when you look at what this guy's done in the past, there's a guy that you never can count out. And he's one of those reasons that Will Loomis was a reserve world champion. Tyler got it that year, and Will was close to him.
Yes, Will was close, but last year we remember round 10, it was kind of unsure who was going to win the world. It was a little bit of a toss-up, and then J.D. Struxness comes in his 6th NFR and wins the world. He's been there 7 times, and last year left the champion. But JD is going to have something different this year, Ty. He's going to have a different set of horses with him. Earlier this year, he broke out a green horse and had success, and now he's going to continue riding it through the finals.
But how much confidence can you come in knowing that you're the reigning world champion? Obviously, everybody's going to have their eye on JD because that's the thing folks talk about. Well, he won one world title. Can you come back and do it again? Well, sure, that's the monkey on his back if you want to say that. But no matter what, that guy, the graphic that we just had up for you before this, I mean, placed in 8 go-rounds out there 1 year ago. I mean, so this guy's going to come in with a lot of confidence. Yeah, sure, I get it. Maybe a little bit greener horse out there. But here's the thing about the Bulldoggers. If he starts off on that horse and things aren't going well the first couple of rounds or something, he'll change and get on one knowing that he can win something because he knows he's got to win over 10 days out there in Las Vegas.
I would have to agree. The most amount of money that you can leave Las Vegas with, that's the best case scenario. Regardless if you leave with a belt buckle or not, those don't really pay the bills now, do they, Ty?
That's exactly right. They do not. You want to win a pile of money. Those $36,000 go-rounds will stack up if you can get a part of that. Stay with us here on Western Sports Roundup. We're going to continue this theme of talking about the timed events in Las Vegas. We'll talk that event right there, tie-down roping, when we return.
Cowboy Channel's pre-NFR coverage is brought to you by Ariat. Ready, set, ride in boots and jeans that work as hard as you do.
They will have to kill me in that arena for me to leave without that gold buckle. I've daydreamed about winning the world, and I'll start tearing up. I feel like it's gonna happen. I feel like I can see it, and I'll start crying about it. Okay. And God, I think about cause the elevator going up, and my family hangs out by the bar. I've always thought about winning the world and then going up the stairs and seeing my family. I can see it, and there's no fucking way somebody's gonna take that from me again.
Glad you're back with us here on Western Sports Roundup. And as we talk tie-down roping for you, as it's going to get underway tomorrow night there inside the Thomas and Mackin go-round #1 at the National Finals Rodeo. That's fun to say, by the way. I mean, I don't know about you, Haley Novak, but I'm getting fired up. I mean, we are moments away from kicking off the National Finals Rodeo. The tie-down roping is an event. I feel like you can say this about a couple different events, but I mean, when you talk about it stacked top to bottom from 1st to 15th, there is a lot of guys that can have a chance at a world title, but there's a couple guys right there at the top that are definitely going to be focused a lot on this week.
Well, when you have two-time reigning world champion Riley Webb at #1 and 16-time NFR qualifier Shane Hanchey at #15, that is such a wide spread, and each and every cowboy in the mix of that, well, they're just as much wolves as anybody else is. Of course, Riley Webb coming into this with a $48,000 lead. He broke his own season earnings record last year from 2023. This cowboy has just been incredible and lights out whenever it comes to breaking his own records that he has set.
Not just at regular season rodeos throughout the year that you're looking at right there, but what he's done at the last 2 National Finals rodeos to win those world titles has proven what kind of tie-down roper he is. Now, the battle's going to continue. We watched him do it out there last year, and that's between he and Shad Mayfield. We've watched them compete against each other and battle that #1 position all season long for 2025. Shad Mayfield, he got the all-around title last year. But Shad Mayfield will be the first guy to tell you, and I want to mention this, Haley, he has not had that National Finals rodeo that just blew everybody out of the water yet. Does he get that fixed for this season? We're about to find out starting tomorrow night. But that's where Riley, I think, has separated himself from Shad over these last couple of years, as kind of somewhat dominated at the National Finals rodeo. Another thing I want to throw out there about Shad, remember, he's got those hip issues that we've been talking about the last couple of years. I hope those are good for him over the next 10 days in Las Vegas.
When you bring up the differences between their NFR, last year Shad finished 4th in the aggregate, winning over $111,000. Last year at the finals, Riley Webb placed in 8 rounds, winning $258,000. That's quite a bit of difference. But on the side that Shad is hurt, well, I guarantee you he has medicine. He's got all of the things he needs to make sure he can make it through these next 10 rounds.
Oh, yeah, the Justin Sports Medicine will be right there, a part of all of that. So there's a look at it. From 1st to 2nd, Shad is about $48,000 behind Riley Webb. That is going to be fun to watch. So we know those guys are going to battle it out. There's a reason Shad Mayfield's a world champion, not only the tie-down roping, but the all-around as well. Riley's got the last 2. And then you look at the rest of that field there in your top 8. I mean, you've got Marty Yates, a longtime veteran of the National Finals rodeo. But then we go to talking about the guys that are in there from 9th to the bottom of the top 15 right there. Of course, you've got Rushton Minton at #9. He's a little further away from Riley. But the guy I want to mention is Haven Medjid down there at 13th. Remember what he did in the month of August there at the last part of the season, won $40,000 in the month of August to get there. He put a big challenge on Riley Webb a year ago at the NFR. I expect that guy to do it again this year.
I couldn't agree more with you. And Haven Medjid is expecting a new little baby on the way. So now he has even more reason for winning. I get fired up, just as you said at the top of this, that this is going to be a story for the ages. It's going to be a one that we all want to watch, but just as well as the team roping, which is why we're talking about it up next.
Cowboy Channel's pre-NFR coverage is brought to you by Ariat. Ready, set, ride, and boots and jeans that work as hard as you do. Glad you're with us here on Western Sports Roundup. We're going to talk a little team roping right now. And Haley, as we get into this event, it's one of the events to me in Las Vegas that each and every go-round kind of feeds off the energy of itself. When the first couple teams jump out there and they're 3-5, 3-7, 3-8, it seems like it's going to be a great night of team roping. When the first couple teams jump out there and miss or rope a leg or they're kind of long, it just seems like it's a okay night of team roping. I swear it does that each and every go-round.
I would have to agree with you. They all feed off each other's energy. They're all around each other all year, so it only makes sense that they do that. I'm really interested to see Lightning Aguilera and Caden Profili kick it off, though, on tomorrow night. I think that could be a team that really gets the ball rolling there. But this team, this contestants list has the most experience out of any other event we're going to see tomorrow.
Yeah, when you talk about NFR veterans in the sport of team roping, there is a pile of them right here. And of course, some young guns, as you talk about too. Caden Profili obviously went last year, but he's back again this year. But when you talk about the guys that are at the top in that number one position, I mean, how do you not talk about Caleb Driggers and Junior Nogueira? Not only do they have world championships together, these guys are so dominant, not only throughout the regular season, which is the reason they're number one coming into the NFR, but they're dominant inside the Thomas and Mack. Their horsepower will be strong, and these guys are phenomenal. Everybody's chasing them. That is a tough, tough team to beat.
Junior is ahead of $34,000 ahead of Coulter Todd, and Caleb Driggers is only $14,000 ahead of Tanner Tomlinson. Like this says, 27 of the 30 have qualified for this team roping before. So there's a lot of experience there, but also the guys that are going there for the first time, they've been in the top 20 as well. You know, Lane Mitchell, he was 16th just a couple of years ago. They've been so close, so they're not coming in there as rookies.
And when you talk about that experience for those guys, the 27 of the 30 team ropers that'll be there with that NFR experience, there's a lot of these guys like this duo that may have 8, 10, 12 qualifications to the National Finals Rodeo behind them. Okay, the last 2 years, the reigning world champions right here, Tyler Wade and Wesley Thorpe. By the way, if you're thinking about your Pro Fantasy Rodeo team, I want to mention to you, these guys are right there in the middle of the pack. They're not going to cost you a pile of money. You may want to think about these guys right here. There's a reason they're the reigning world champs. And no matter what happens, remember, we've seen in the past where Tyler's jumped out there and missed a steer or two at the beginning. That doesn't affect them. That could be a fun team to kind of battle with Caleb and Junior for that world championship this year and see what it looks like.
That's what I think is the most interesting, Ty, is everybody is in that grasp of that reach of the gold buckle. It's not just the number ones a mile ahead of the pack. They're only $40,000 ahead of Tyler Wade at number 8. So it's not really guaranteed. It's going to be anybody's ball game once it gets to the team roping tomorrow night. But we've got more coming up when we return right here on Western Sports Roundup. We're bringing you the barrel racing. We're breaking down all the newcomers that will be making their first trip down the alleyway tomorrow night.
All right, Haley Kinsel, here we go. You know, and you just can't write this gal off because she can win so much money. Third in the average, 1 in the world. She's won $134,000. The energy in the building when it's their turn to go is just unbelievable.
You have to give so much respect for Haley Kinsel and her positioning and timing around every single one of those barrels. Just watch Brittany Posey-Tanazi. There's a reason she's already a 2-time world champion. She can ride any type of horse. We're going to make the same one again. New leader, Cassie Mallory and Jarvis.
All right, the barrel racing at the Thomas and Mack is one of the most electric events. It always brings the energy. We're always wondering how fast can it possibly get. The arena record has been broken there quite a few times, and I think we're just on the edge of possibly seeing those 12-second runs, Ty.
Oh, it could definitely happen. When you talk about the horsepower coming into that arena, that is the reason I think those records just continually get up just a little bit more. It gets faster and faster, it seems like, each and every year. But it's interesting because the barrel racing, from 1 to 15 going into the National Finals Rodeo for go-round number 1 after the regular season ended, is the closest in any event. Okay, Cassie Mallory's going in the number 1 spot, $203,000 on the year. That's a world champion, the reigning world champion. Brittany Posey-Tanazi right behind her, a 3-time world champion. Just $8,700 behind her. When you look down through there, even down to number 9 on this first screen is only $58,000. That is way less than what 2 go-rounds are going to pay out there in Las Vegas. And then here's the rest of them, all the way down to 16th. We'll explain that in just a moment.
Yes, this is where a lot of the newcomers come in. You can see Taylor Winkins, the Montana cowgirl, but if you look down and see Julie Plord there at number 16, you're wondering, why are there 16 cowgirls competing at the NFR this year? Well, there is not. Anita Ellis unfortunately suffered a major injury and she will not be able to compete. So the alternate, Julie Plord, flew all the way down from Canada and made sure she was ready for this year's finals. As there's a lot of veterans there, we're also seeing the first timers. Of course, Julie Plord will be making her first run there. But there's a lot of people that are very experienced there as well.
Absolutely. When you talk about 3 of these girls that are 6 of the last 7 championships belong to 3 of the girls that are competing there. Not only Haley Kinsel, Brittany Posey-Tanazi, and of course Cassie Mowry winning it just a year ago. That's what it looks like for those 3, winning 6 world titles over the last 7 years. Cassie Mowry coming in number 1, Brittany's coming in number 2. She was the last time she was a world championship was in 2023. And then of course Haley Kinsel and that great mare sister coming in number 4. They won world titles 18, 19, and 20. And then, of course, in 22 as well. So that's what it looks like. Interesting note, though, that I want to mention to you folks, Cassie Mowry will not be riding her horse Jarvis out there. Nothing's wrong with him. She just left him home to stay healthy. He's not sick, any of that stuff. People have been wondering, oh, does he have EHV1 or any of that? She just decided to leave him home to keep him safe and healthy for that. But here's the thing about Cassie Mowry. We know what kind of barrel racer she is. We know what kind of rider she is and what kind of trainer she is. I don't care what she rides in that Thomas & Mack. She is somebody that's going to be tough to beat.
Well, she's an $8 million rider, Ty. The word on the street is that she'll be riding her gelding. He will be epic with over $700,000 in career earnings. He's ran at the NFR before, so he's definitely not inexperienced whenever it comes to this pin. But Cassie Mowry, $8 million earned. That's unheard of, Ty. That's the winningest woman in the rodeo history.
You're exactly right. And of course, there's what she's done on the season. Remember this too, we always talk about it here on Western Sports Roundup, but you can't help to the fact to mention the few amount of rodeos that she goes to each and every year. But when she shows up, oh yeah, she wins Houston. She wins San Angelo and wins 20,000 down there, wins Greeley and wins almost 13,000 right there before the 4th of July. So it seems like she kind of knows how to pick the rodeos, where they pay good and where she can make the most of it with only going to those few rodeos, and it has paid off time and time again. Now we've seen Cassie at the last few National Finals rodeos, and of course this is her 5th National Finals rodeo qualification, but she's going in there numero uno, everybody chasing her.
From number 1, let's go ahead and take a look at the first timers, the cowgirls that have never ran down the yellow alley before, never ran into the blind barrel before that we've all heard about. It's really interesting getting to that first barrel, but Julie Port here, she will also not be riding her number 1 horse, Epic. She decided to get a surgery on him, so she'll be pulling Rocky out, and then Tiani Schuster as well has a horse that she could borrow as well.
Do it. She would love to be watching Anita Ellis there, who qualified in the number 8 position, but with Anita being out due to that injury, Julie gets jumped up and gets to compete at her first Wrangler National Finals rodeo, and that's what I'm saying. For the story part of it, I hope that she can win a pile of money and maybe win a couple of go-rounds out there. Another one headed to her first NFR. She's been close a couple of times, but this year, Caitlin Scott made it work. $130,000 on the season. She won 5 rodeos throughout the year. This girl she's definitely got some horsepower to go with her too, and she's going to be a fun one to watch out there.
This yellow horse she calls Peanut is going to be so successful in there. She's ridden him all year long, so he's seen the miles. It's well deserved for them. Nobody was happier at the back number ceremony last night though than Caitlin Scott was. She wore this beautiful gold dress. She was holding her number up in the air. She was pretty pumped about all of that. Haley Gibson Stillwell, she'll be the first timer there, riding a bunch of dinero.
Yeah, she's got a good one as well for her, going in the number 12 position. You see right there, she won $140,000 on the season. She won a pile of rodeos too, and you look at that, averaging it out, she won pretty good money at each one of those rodeos every time she went into that 3 cloverleaf pattern. But no matter what, Haley Gibson Stillwell, she's headed there for a good reason. It's her first trip, but don't count her out for 10 nights in Las Vegas.
And the lady who has been the topic of everybody's conversation lately is Trisha Aldridge and Adios Pantalones, the 5-year-old stud horse that took over the futurity world and came over to the rodeo world on a whim and chased their dreams, achieved their dreams out here. This horse has ran at almost every rodeo that Trisha Aldridge has. Well-deserved miles, has success in the tiny buildings. I'm sure he'll have a lot of success out there too.
Yeah, she definitely will. We know what this horse can do in the futurity arena, and a lot of people have been talking about that, what he'll do inside that Thomas & Mack. That's pretty familiar territory for those small barrel futurities like he's been so accustomed to. What can Taylor Moykins do for her first trip to the NFR? Well, we're going to find out. Goes in number 10 in the world standings. Had a great season, obviously. She won 7 different rodeos that she ran out of the arena as the number 1 lady at those 7 different rodeos. $142,000 on the season. Taylor headed to Las Vegas for her first ever trip.
Also winning $39,000 at the Hondo Rodeo just a couple of weeks ago. So she's fresh, she's feeling good, and she's ready to win. Megan McLeod-Sprague will be riding her bay horse Jag out there. She won San Antonio, had success at the Governor's Cup. The small pins are right in their wheelhouse. San Antonio is really similar as it is so tight, really close to those walls. All the fans are really up on top of these cowgirls there, and it's going to be the same way in Vegas.
Megan McLeod-Sprague, I'm glad to see she is headed to Las Vegas. She's been running barrels for a day or two, and this comes definitely rewarding for her. Great horses, definitely a good cowgirl to watch out there. This barrel racing, I do think it's going to be interesting, Haley, because we started off this segment talking about how close these ladies were. So you take not only how close they are in money together, you throw in the horsepower that comes with these ladies, then you throw in how good of hands these girls on the back of these horses are, whether it's inside the Thomas and Mack or at rodeos, we've seen them all across the country. That barrel racing is going to be fun to cheer on.
It certainly is. I think this could be one of the best lineups that we're going to see yet. And like you keep mentioning how tight it is between these cowgirls. They've been fighting for it all year, and they're definitely not going to back down now.
No, not at all. That is for sure. So the barrel racing is going to be a good one out there in Las Vegas. Well, the PBR is getting ready to start their season. It seems like it doesn't ever stop. They go from one to the next. Well, the Velocity Tour, it gets underway this weekend. The Unleash the Beast Tour gets underway next weekend. PBR Senior Vice President Robert Simpson will join us on the show coming up.
Well, have you ever heard of the National Finals Rodeo? I'm sure you have, because who hasn't? It is the Super Bowl of the season. We started it off on October 1st, 2024, and now it ends in just a few short days, 11 days to be exact, because that means we are 1 day, 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 22 seconds away from the 2025 NFR Round 1 kicking off, and that's just when the bucking chutes open, they come unleashed, and we'll see who will leave the world champion. It's every event, Ty, we've been talking about. It's drama. Yeah. It is so dramatic. The way the money is spread out between everybody, the way the horses are. Heck, we saw the draw today, and it looks pretty dicey.
Yeah, by the way, if you haven't done that yet or not, they have drawn the rough stock events for the first and second go-round. Might kind of glance over there, and I don't know if that kind of helps you on your Pro Fantasy Rodeo team, because remember, you've got till tomorrow night when they buck the first bareback horse to build your Pro Fantasy Rodeo team. Well, if you haven't built your team, or even if you have and you want to go in and change it, you might check at the draw and see what you kind of like or don't like, but it's the best bucking horses and bulls in the world, so I'm going to say it's pretty even across the board. It's still going to be fun to watch.
Well, that was my strategy, of course. It wasn't because I waited to the last minute. It's because I intentionally wanted to make sure I had all of my odds stacked up correctly. I don't want to do anything rashly. No.
So you're saying the odds are in your favor that you haven't built your Pro Fantasy Rodeo team with 1 day to go. You were waiting until the draw came out. That's what you were doing.
Yes, I was. And the anticipation, everybody likes, like I said, a little drama. I like to wait a little bit, you know.
Yeah, I know this young lady well. She's just waiting until the last minute just because that's how it works out for her. It is so much fun. I'll mention this about the National Finals Rodeo. Remember kind of your last-minute checklist before the rodeo gets underway tomorrow night. Hey, are you planning a trip out there? We hope you are. You hope you get a chance to go out and see it live and in person. But no matter what, we definitely want you tuned in here to the Cowboy Channel. There's a handful of us that are staying here at our Cowboy Channel studios in Fort Worth, where we're going to be doing some of the early afternoon shows that you can tune into every day. So along with everything else going on in Las Vegas, be sure that you're tuned into the Cowboy Channel. We're going to have lots of great stories, lots of things to share with you throughout all of our entire broadcast, not only in the early part of the day leading up to the rodeo, after the rodeos. So be sure you've got your watch parties planned out perfectly where you can be tuned in for all of it.
All right, Ty, I know you know the answer to this question. What's your go-to watch party snack? We want to hear the go-to finger foods and then the go-to dessert, because I know you got a sweet tooth.
Well, I do have a sweet tooth. So you really just asked me like 3 questions there all in one. I mean, you asked me for a snack. I probably won't do the snack because I'm going to have dinner probably before the rodeo.
Okay.
So, you know, my wife cooked a good steak or something like that. So I'll be good during the rodeo because I have to stay loose and limber. Justin McKee and I, we like to cheer those guys on. You've seen us before. I mean, we get involved with it, whether we're tying a calf down with Riley Webb or Shad Mayfield at 6'5", or we're riding a bucking horse with Zeke Thurston for 92 points. I mean, whatever it may be. So I got to feel loose and ready during the rodeo itself. And then as far as the dessert goes, to answer your third question, any dessert. I'm kind of a sweets guy.
Okay, I thought it was going to be like a cookies and cream milkshake. I know that's going to be my dessert because there's this ice cream place just right down the road, and we're definitely going to be stopping there a few times. So that'll be my answer.
We sure are. So it's time to talk a little bull riding. What do you say? We'll talk a little PBR now.
Silva. Oh, yeah. Championship, let's do this. Come on, Zeke. Sit up. You're fine. You're fine.
Well, welcome back to Western Sports Roundup. We figured we better talk a little bull riding here before we let you go today. PBR season is getting underway, and why not bring in a guy that knows all about it? The Senior Vice President of the PBR, Robert Simpson, is joining us now on the show. Robert, welcome to Western Sports Roundup. Thanks for giving us a little time. Robert, it seems like to me at the PBR, it's nonstop for you guys. I mean, you go from the team series, you go right into the Unleash the Beast, the Velocity Tour. I mean, it's just from one to the other, and that's the case right now for you guys, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know, Ty, I don't know if I signed up for that when I signed on about 12 years ago, but we used to have a summer break, you know, where we had the rodeos kind of take, you know, center stage, but there's just so much desire for the PBR across the country. And like you said, with the new team series and the new concepts, we are definitely year-round now.
Robert, I'm sure you'd like to be on the beach sipping a pina colada during the summer, but how inspiring is it for you guys to know that there is such a high demand for these events?
Great problem to have, right? I mean, we want to service the fans and the new concepts, and, you know, with the team series bringing up, you know, just a out in left field concept to bull riding that's never happened before. You know, we also have, you know, some bigger events. We have the stadium event in Fort Collins this year. I mean, so we're undertaking a lot of new events and new, you know, aspects that's never been covered before. So, you know, for me and what we do at PBR, we love it. Wouldn't have it any other way, and business is good.
So this weekend kicks off the Velocity Tour. In fact, you're kicking it off in St. Louis, Missouri. Next weekend, we'll actually kick off the Unleash the Beast, the UTB events across the season. But let's talk St. Louis this weekend. I know you guys are excited to be headed there.
Really excited. And, you know, the Velocity Tour will kick off the 2026 season. And, you know, we are starting in December, you know, the season roll. So all the points, all of the money, everything now counts for the new 2026 PBR, you know, final standings. It counts for the UTV, it counts for the Velocity Tour. You know, both will culminate in May, you know, there in Fort Worth. And super excited to get the season up and running. And, you know, St. Louis has always been a wonderful stop for PBR, and the fans in Missouri and just come out in droves, and yeah, we're ready to start.
Robert, you mentioned with these new points, it's counting for 2026. With that being said, y'all are also implementing a new point system going all the way down to the 10th. How do you think that's gonna trace throughout the year?
I love it personally. You know, been in this game 30 plus years, but, you know, to have 10 points now, it just brings the whole level of competition, not only for the bulls, but for the rider. And, you know, the riders and the bulls are so good. It's so hard to differentiate, you know, scores, and given the judges that access to have another, you know, to break it down into tenths is, you know, to me, it's groundbreaking. No other sport does that on the rodeo side. And so, you know, we're really looking forward to how that's going to affect. I think it's going to be positive all the way around. Can't wait to see it.
Well, you guys are definitely getting that kicked off. Of course, your tour schedule is about to get underway with that Velocity Tour event kicking off there in St. Louis this weekend. And, of course, there's a look at it right there, kicking off this weekend. But, hey, it's not just about St. Louis to talk about this week for the PBR. We've got the National Finals Rodeo going on in Las Vegas, but you guys are a part of that over at Resorts World as well. You better tell fans what's going on at Resorts World for you guys.
Yeah, first time ever. We partnered with the Ultimate Bullfighters and doing an event at Resorts World, not competing with NFR, but to supplement and have, give people going to Vegas, another thing to do. So 1:30 every afternoon, we'll have a bullfight. And then midweek next week, we'll actually have 2 PBR performances. And so never have really tried this before in Vegas. And, but with UBF and the Resorts World partnership, was something that came about, and invite everybody out. If you haven't seen UBF in action, highly advise it. Really entertaining. These guys are such great athletes, and put their life on the line, fighting bulls and get scored and so forth. So we invite everybody to come out. Everybody in Vegas, just spend an afternoon with us, and you won't be disappointed.
Robert, I like when you said there that it's not to compete, it's there to supplement. Could we see that more happening here in the future? Yeah. I mean, we've never wanted to compete, right? NFR is the group, it is the Super Bowl, and love it. I mean, I'm a huge fan, been a part of the industry for 30 years, like I said, but, there's so many people, there's so much stuff to do. And, like I said, just wanting to be part of the action and, expose some of our product to different fans.
Glad to have it all available during the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. Always plenty to do in Las Vegas, that is for sure. And, of course, the PBR event is about to get underway in St. Louis and Unleash the Beast the week after that. Robert Simpson, I know you guys are busy. Thanks for joining us here on the show today. We certainly appreciate your insight.
We appreciate you guys, as always, Ty, Haley.
What a treat it was to have Robert Simpson here on the show. We love to hear a little bit more about the PBR. But now it's time to get to our Vetchison Top 3 stories of the day. Clean, treat, heal, advancing animal wellness. In Canada is on top, well, literally on top because they're right above us here in North America, but there's also 11 contestants coming from Canada, including the NFBR, that will be competing at the finals this year. They're spread across the saddle bronc riding, the team roping, the calf roping, and the breakaway roping.
We did our best on today's show to get you ready for the timed events there in Las Vegas. Can Will Loomis win his first world title? Well, man, he is set up to be in the #1 spot going in to the National Finals Rodeo tomorrow night. As far as the team roping goes, when you look across the entire field, there's as many NFR qualifications in this event as there is any other event. Yeah, there's some new guys in there as well, but that team roping, it should definitely be exciting. So here's the deal, folks. Start making your plans. How are you going to watch the NFR? If you're going to Las Vegas and be a part of it, that's great. But I mentioned it to you earlier. Be sure that you're joining us here on the Cowboy Channel, because we have got you covered, not only from the shows that we're going to be doing here in Fort Worth. That includes Deep Dive, Zero In, and the NFR Tailgate Show from right here in Fort Worth at our Cowboy Channel studios, and then we head to Las Vegas for Western Sports Roundup and the rest of the shows.
Yes, we'll be all across the country, and they're going to be all across Vegas. Rodeo Live will be at the Thomas and Mack. The NFR Final will be at Resorts World. Western Sports Roundup will be at the South Point. They're spread across the entire city of Las Vegas. And Ty, I'm glad to be in Fort Worth here with you, enjoying our home state, our home city, and our home turf here in the studio.
Yeah, we're going to do our shows from here and lead you right into all the coverage going into the NFR every day in Las Vegas. Tonight on the Cowboy Channel, it's a big night for the PRCA and the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. You won't want to miss it. 9 p.m. Central Time, that is the PRCA Awards Ceremony. You take Rodeo Committees of the Year, Stock Contractors of the Year, all of that gets crowned tonight. Bullfighters, barrelmen, Entertainers of the Year, it all is a big part of it. You won't want to miss that tonight on the Cowboy Channel.
Yes, the people that make the PRCA go round are going to be awarded, and the Miss Rodeo American pageant is December 5th through the 7th in Las Vegas, Nevada. We are just so close to crowning our 2026 Miss Rodeo America. They work so hard all year. They work so hard for the pageant. Beauty and brains, those girls are. So best of luck to the contestants out there trying to win their title.
Yeah, that is just some of the few things that are underway there in Las Vegas. Thanks for riding along with us here on Western Sports Roundup. Day number 1 of the National Finals is tomorrow. We hope you're ready. For Haley Novak, I'm Ty McClary. Thanks for riding along with us here on Western Sports Roundup.